Volunteerism is often considered the fabric of a healthy community, whether this be helping a neighbor, serving lunch at church, or donating time to help a not-for-profit. This year's Sustainable Kingston Community Profile Series will focus on local volunteers and organizations, highlighting Kingston's fabric. Red Cross is known internationally for humanitarianism, and we're here today at the Kingston branch's grand opening to find out how volunteers help our community.
We are here today because we have changed the location. We used to be in the lovely building behind the courthouse downtown, but that was not wheelchair accessible, so we had to find a new location, and this is it.
I'm just very pleased to be here today at the opening of the new Red Cross office here in Kingston area. I know for many, many years you were located at the county courthouse, and now you've found a new place here.
So I coordinate the disaster management program here at the Kingston branch. We have about 40 volunteers that respond to any type of natural disaster or emergency event in the Kingston area. So we provide emergency support to anyone who may be displaced from their home due to an emergency.
So do you do it for long-term or short-term?
Mostly for short-term. Our mandate is to provide up to 72 hours of emergency services, which could include lodging, food, clothing, and any type of personal services they may require.
Locally, we have a team here in Kingston consisting of about 20 people who help out after personal disasters, and that is the main thing in the community luckily not on a daily basis, but on a more or less regular basis when that is needed. So in case somebody is burned out of their house, in case there's a flood, if you go a little bit more upscale, it might be that a train derailment has happened, or an ice storm, or any of these things, they call on Red Cross to help out.
Our program is completely run and driven by volunteers. We have about 40 volunteers in the Kingston area, and they do everything from service delivery to our program administration, to volunteer recruitment, public education, and our community outreach programs. So I just help manage that and coordinate that.
The kind of work that you do in disaster relief organizations right now, I understand a few of you are involved in Hurricane Sandy cleanup in New York, but so many other places, and the video in there probably says it best about, and that's just one part of the work that the Red Cross does. The other kind of work that you do in making young people more aware, for example, of a more humanitarian approach to law, I saw that in there, fantastic program, and in so many, many other ways too. The Red Cross is an integral part of this community.
Some team members have the chance to be deployed in other situations, like some of our team went to Thunder Bay to help out. Today we have somebody in New York helping out with the aftermath of Sandy. So you get trained, and that is another really good thing about Red Cross, that they are very conscious about keeping their people trained well.
Well, our volunteers are trained, so they do receive first aid training and a Red Cross training to be able to provide service to our clients and respond to calls. So our volunteers are on call 24/7. We have teams of volunteers that will carry a pager. In the event of an emergency, they'll be called out and they'll respond on scene. So a lot of times they're at the scene of the house fire, meeting with the clients individually, and conducting a needs assessment with them to determine what their needs would be after an emergency.
I would just like to add to what John said, a big thank you from the City of Kingston for everything that you do, not only as an organization around the world, but what you do locally and what you're doing right here in Kingston. When I look at the brochures that are on the table, I had no idea of some of the things that you are directly involved in as an association. So you're much more than what we see on the evening news. When there is a disaster and a need for assistance, you go way beyond that. You're going far beyond the call of duty. So it's great what you do, and we can't thank you enough for everything that you offer to the community at large. So.
Why do you do it?
Because I love it. It is a great organization to volunteer for. It has lots of opportunities. The principles of the Red Cross are recognized not only by us as volunteers in Kingston, but all over the world. There are more than 180 national Red Cross, Red Crescent organizations in the whole world. everybody is neutral, is totally unbiased, and is there to help people.
The great thing about working with volunteers is seeing the compassion that they display regularly when they're on calls. Often they'll respond to calls at 2 a.m. in the freezing cold, and they'll pick up and leave their families to go and help another family in need. And to really see that display of humanitarianism, and that someone else is in need and that they will do anything to help.
I think
it's
time to cut the ribbon.
Time to cut the
and
ribbon.
remember, with ribbons, you can only cut them once. You see, so we better do it right the first time.
We don't know who's going to catch this. There we
May
go.
you have many, many happy years of continuing service to this great community of ours.
Here, here.
Congratulations. Well done.
For more information on how to volunteer with Kingston Branch's Red Cross, check out their website. I'm Dan Hendry for Sustainable Kingston.